Now we move on to Israel, Gaza. U.S. President Donald Trump has warned Iran against attacking the United States in any way, saying that it would face the might of the U.S. military at levels never seen before. Trump said in a post on his Truth Social platform that the U.S. had nothing to do with an overnight attack on Iran and that they can easily get a deal done between Iran and Israel and end the conflict. This comes after the next round of U.S.-Iran nuclear negotiations due to take place in Oman this weekend had been cancelled. According to Oman's foreign minister, his Iranian counterpart Abbas Araghchi had earlier said that such talks were unjustifiable while Israel's attacks continued. Meanwhile, waves of overnight Iranian strikes on Israel have killed at least 10 people, including children, according to state emergency services. As per Israeli local media, 6 people have been reported dead and some 7 people are still considered missing after a missile strike on a residential building in Bat Yam. Meanwhile, the death toll in this missile strike on the northern city of Tamra has risen to 4. Israel's military has said that its forces intercepted 7 drones launched towards its territory as air raid sirens sounded in the country's north. Moreover, a spokesperson for Israel's National Emergency Service has said that around 200 people were wounded in overnight missile strikes fired by Iran. Iran's paramilitary Revolutionary Guard has also claimed that Iranian missiles targeted fuel production facilities for Israeli fighter jets. Furthermore, the Iran-backed Houthis in Yemen claimed to have launched 2 ballistic missiles at Israel in the past day in coordination with Iran. Meanwhile, Israel's operation against Iran is expected to take weeks, not days, and is moving forward with implicit U.S. approval, according to White House and Israeli officials. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has warned in a video address that Israel will strike every site and every target of the Ayatollah's regime. In response, Iran has threatened to intensify these attacks if Israel continues hostilities. Here's what the Israeli Prime Minister had to say.
בזמן הקרוב ביותר אתם תראו את מטוסי ישראל, את חיל האוויר של ישראל, הטייסים שלנו, מעל שמי טהרן. אנחנו נפגע בכל אתר, בכל מטרה של משטר האייתולות, ומה שהם הרגישו עד עכשיו הוא כאין וכאפס למה שהם ירגישו תחת נחת זרוענו בימים הקרובים. קודם כל, פגענו בתוכנית הזאת פגיעה ממשית. דבר השני, ואתם ראיתם את זה, יש איום עצום של הטילים הבליסטיים. אתם רואים את כל טיל כזה שנופל, רואים מה זה עושה, ושוב העמידה שלכם היא מופלאה. Doing with the support, the clear support of the President of the United States, Donald Trump, and the American people, and many others in the world. So with God's help, and with the goodwill and resolution of all free societies, we shall win.
According to the Israeli military, the Air Force carried out an extensive series of intelligence-based strikes on a number of targets in Tehran, including the headquarters of Iran's Ministry of Defense. Moreover, Iran has said that Israeli strikes targeted South Pars natural gas field and Shahran oil depot. In response, the Israeli military has stated that it targeted sites related to the Iranian regime's nuclear weapons project. Iranian media has said that Israeli attacks have killed at least 80 people and wounded 800 others over the past 2 days, including 20 children. Now we have guest Peter Baum. He's a foreign editor at Weekly Bliss, joining us live from London. Thank you for joining us today. Could this be part of a broader Israeli attempt to shift global focus from Gaza to Iran? And
I doubt it. I don't think the objective of the Israeli government by attacking Iran was to deflect from the Gaza situation at all. I think the Israeli government had been planning such an attack on Iran for weeks and took this opportunity because they felt, rightly or wrongly, that Iran was probably at its weakest position that it had been for decades simply because the Iranian proxies, such as Hamas, such as Hezbollah, such as the previous Assad government in Syria, and also the Houthis, have been dramatically weakened. And in that respect, the Netanyahu government have been proved right. We've seen no military assistance from Hamas. They probably don't have the ability to do so anymore. We've seen nothing from Hezbollah because they have been dramatically weakened. Syria have decided to stay out of the conflict, and if anything, are quite secretly pleased that the Iranians are being so damaged, because don't forget, the Iranians were huge supporters of the Assad regime, which has been toppled in Syria. So to answer your question, I don't think it had anything to do with deflecting from Gaza, but more to do with taking advantage of what the Israelis to be perceived to be Iranian weakness.
And focusing on the diplomatic front, with nuclear talks cancelled in Oman, according to you, is diplomacy effectively dead in the water here?
At the moment, I would say yes, because I think there's a bigger game going on here. It's clear from the recent statements of Mr. Trump and from his actions, and also the actions of the UK government, that it's potential that regime change within Iran could actually be a reality now, whereas in previous skirmishes that was off the table. But now it's very possible, with the dilution of the Iranian armed wing, their major generals and commanders, with the attacks now on Iranian infrastructure, which will devastate the Iranian economy more than previously, and with Israeli assets and Mossad working within Iran to destabilize the regime and carry out assassinations. I think we're looking at a wider picture here. The focus definitely, in my opinion, being on regime change, and therefore I think diplomacy, although we'll hear the usual rhetoric from the United Nations and from other interested parties that both Iran and Israel should come to the table and de-escalate, I think there is a commitment amongst Israel and her allies for total regime change within Iran.
And now staying on diplomacy, with Putin, who is known to be Iran's ally, and Trump, both calling for de-escalation, could this open a path for back-channel diplomacy?
Almost certainly it could, but it's interesting. I think the most interesting aspect of this is what Putin has said. Now, don't forget, Putin was a huge investor in Assad Syria, and when Assad was toppled, the Israelis made sure that all the Russian military assets that had propped up Assad were totally destroyed. So Putin doesn't really have a say in the game here, other than from a political, or as you say, call it diplomatic point of view. And the fact that he has sided with Trump's statements indicates to me that he is almost assigned to the fact that the Iranian regime that was so supportive of him and vice versa is in a position of so much weakness that it's possible that he has been backing the wrong horse for the last 15 years, because the Ayatollah and his totalitarian theocrats who have been ruling since the late 70s are under such severe pressure that it really is possible now that they may be overthrown.
And that naturally raises this question about what role is Russia trying to play here by offering to mediate these talks. Can Moscow still be credible as a mediator here?
Can Moscow still be credible? Possibly, but I think Trump sees this as an opportunity to pressure Putin regarding Ukraine, because Putin's commitment to Iran and formerly Syria has been proven to be a losing commitment. And I think this gives Putin some kind of credibility, a way out to act as an honest broker and have some influence on the international stage. But realistically, all Putin wanted was military influence, and I'm afraid that has been severely diluted since Assad was toppled in Syria, and since Iran's proxies have also been weakened, and now Iran itself.
Thank you very much, Peter Brom, for joining us.